Good morning, everyone. Welcome to beautiful and chilly Tawalantenne. We are going to start Pekoe Trail stage number 4. Some people pronounce it as Pekoe Trail. Whatever, we are going to start the stage number 4 from Tawalantenne to Pundaluoya. It's going to be a 14.05 kilometer long hike. Our elevation gain is at 957 meters or 3140 feet. This is not the trailhead. In fact, it is on the A5 main road, which is the Peradeniya Batticaloa Chenkaladi highway or PBC highway. You then need to turn to the B412 road, which is Tawalantenne Pundaluoya Talawakale road. Having walked on that road for about 400 meters, we took a left turn through this forest trail. So this is where we are going to start our hike and continue for the rest of the day along this beautiful and amazing Pekoe Trail stage number 4. Stay tuned, people. We are walking through a small village footpath. As you can see, there are houses on either side of this footpath. This actually goes and enters into Kothmale New Town near the divisional secretariat. From there, it circles back once again onto B412 Tawalantenne, Pundaluoya and Kothmale road. This is a very significant point. From here onwards, we need to get down using a very steep set of stairs, which is known as forest stairs. Let me show you that as well. Here are the forest stairs, which leads to Kothmale New Town. Okay, we are here at the Kothmale post office. Now we are getting very close to the Kothmale New Town road, which I am calling it KNTR. Behind me is the Kothmale post office, and further in the background is one end of the Kikiliyamana forest reserve. If I'm not mistaken, we can make out one of the mountains inside known as Katharawalla mountain, 1669 meters in height. Here's another beautiful view towards Kandy, Ella, one of the most beautiful locations in upcountry. If you remember, we walked on the road above that, which is known as Protop Road, when we were doing Pekoe stage number 3. I'm just taking a break at one of these roadside benches. We passed Kothmale Hospital, MOH office and Gamini Dishanayaka National College at 1.4 kilometer mark. Now we have trekked close to 1.6 kilometers. This is the view towards Kandy Ella stream. Down below is the Ramboda Sangilipalama B612 road. We are at 1.9 kilometer mark. This is the bridge over Kandy Ella stream. Elevation at this point is 780 meters. Here is the Kandy Ella stream flows down to meet with Pundaluoya, which is also known as Rambodoya, before they go and flow into Kothmale reservoir. We are trekking along this main road between Tawalantenne and Talawakale that goes through Pundaluoya, B412. Quite a busy road. This is one of the reasons why Pekoe stage 4 and 5 are not so popular among the trekkers. Here is yet another small stream that flows to Pundaluoya. They together flow as Pundaluoya or Rambodoya to merge with Kothmale reservoir. There are some people in these paddy fields who are harvesting the paddy, because we are now getting to the harvesting season. Crucial landmark. We have trekked 2.7 kilometers. This is the bridge across Pundaluoya, also known as Rambodoya. Elevation at this point is 770 meters. On to our left, up above, is the end of Kikiliyamana Forest Reserve. Katharawalla mountain ridge is also there at 1669 meters. Let me also show you the Pundaluoya. This is Pundaluoya going downstream. In the distance we can make out Peacock Hill as well. We have come to a very important landmark. This is the lowest elevation point on Pekoe stage number 4 at 759 meters or 2490 feet. From here we have to trek another 1.4 kilometers on this dreaded B412 before turning onto the Choisy Estate Road. This is a very important landmark. This is where you leave B412 and turn to left on this road. Elevation at this point is 770 meters. So far we have trekked 4.9 kilometers. Finally we have left B412 for good. It was not an easy walk between Tawalantenne at the trailhead and turning to this estate road. 4.9 kilometer hike, walking on that busy and exposed Tawalantenne Pundaluoya Talawakale road. I would recommend anyone trying to do Pekoe stage 4 to start the trail at 4.9 kilometer mark instead, so that you will have 9.15 kilometers of peace and quiet to do this trek without having to worry about the B412. Now we started our trek at 957 meter elevation on A5 PBC highway, and we turned to this Choisy village middle road at 770 meter mark. That means we have lost approximately 187 meters in elevation over that 4.9 kilometer distance. Right, let's continue this road and see what we can find. Alright, we are continuing on this village road, which is well paved at some places, not so well paved at other places. Anyway, just wanted to give you a bit of information about Kotmale, which is a very historical village in the central part of Sri Lanka, which is also known as Malaya Rata. Malaya Rata essentially translates into the kingdom of mountains. Kotmale is located in Nuwara Eliya district, central province. Approximate elevation is roughly 8 to 850 meters or 2600 to 2800 feet. This is a very picturesque land surrounded by hills, and as I mentioned before, it is deeply embedded in Sri Lankan history. Kotmale is first recorded in history during King Panduwas Dev, that is between 504 and 474 BC. Apparently he had carried out a devil dance by the demon tribes. In Sinhala we call them Yakka Gotra in Malaya Rata, which is also the Kotmale. And then the most prominent feature of Kotmale is attached to King Dutugamunu the Great, because he spent 12 years his youth hiding from his father in this area surrounded by hills, because he had apparently angered his father by sending him some ladies' jewels, because he wanted to go and fight King Elara in Anuradhapura, but his father wouldn't let him. Okay, there's like a road constructing machine. Apparently they are going to fix this road soon. Alright, we are taking a small break on this rocky slab under the nice mango tree. So far we have trekked approximately 5.9 kilometers, and we are now trekking through a private estate marked on Google Maps as Aryadasa Estate. Well, these Sinhala names are not quite common in terms of estates name in Sri Lanka. Normally we have these English and Scottish names like Great Western, Stockholm, Mocha, so on and so forth. However, remember we turned to this estate road at 4.9 kilometer mark at 770 meter elevation. The highest elevation point on Pekoe stage 4 is at 1263 meters. That is at the 9 kilometer mark. Essentially, we have to gain 493 meters in just 4.1 kilometers. It's going to be a very hard climb. I actually regret doing the first 4.9 kilometers on that B412. I think that was a great pity that the Pekoe organization committee couldn't find a better route for us to enjoy the true nature of this upcountry known as Malay Rata or Kotmale. From what we have heard, there are some obstacles from the private estate owners where they had made some objections because they were not getting any income or benefit out of this Pekoe Trail. As a result, they had closed down some of these footpaths which were running through their estates. This is one of the reasons why we had to walk about 4.9 kilometers on that busy Tawalantenne, Pundaluoya, Haputale road. This goes to show that there should be some proper and thorough feasibility study before implementing a trail like Pekoe, because this is the first multi-stage trek in Sri Lanka. I hope they will fix this and find a better route to cover Pekoe stage 4 and 5 so that people will not get bored and they will not discontinue it after just 4 or 5 stages. You can see down below the path that we came uphill to this Aridas estate. Up there you can see two prominent peaks. One in the middle is where the ruins of an ancient tea factory lies. That has so many beautiful viewpoints, probably one of the best tea factories which had the best views in Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, it's no longer in operation. It's in ruins, in fact. Further to the left up there is another beautiful viewpoint known as Karnagala. We are planning to pay a visit there and go and see what we can enjoy from that viewpoint. The tea factory is at an elevation of 1040 meters. We are at approximately 900 meters. So we have to climb another 140 meters to get there. Here is another beautiful viewpoint. This time we are looking towards Protoft estate. You can make out the mountain range and the Kandy Ella. Further to the right we can also see the streams of Nuwara and Rambuda. Those are the ones creating Kandy Ella, Nuwara Eliya and Rambuda waterfalls. There are 3 of them. Beyond that, further into the sky, you can make out the Piduruthalagala Conservation Forest. Somewhat towards the right, we can probably make out the Topaz Hill and Rambuda Hills. That's where the Pundaluoya and Rambudoya originate. Amazing sight indeed. When we were doing Pekoe stage 3, we crossed Piduruthalagala Conservation Forest from Lulkandura to Stellenberg Estate. This is without doubt the best viewpoint of the day. Just incredible. Can you make out 2 prominent mountain ranges? The one in the foreground is the one that runs along Protoft Road between Tawalantenne and Rambuda. The one beyond and further up is Piduruthalagala Conservation Forest. If I'm not mistaken, we can make out some of the mountain peaks such as Protoft Hills and then Perettasi Mountain, Rambuda Hills, Topaz Hills and even Chariot Path. If you remember, we crossed Piduruthalagala Conservation Forest during our Pekoe stage 3. Absolutely out of this world. This is yet another fantastic window. You can probably hear some background music because there are some festivals going on in the upcountry Kovils these days. Anyway, you can make out very clearly Peacock Hill, 1520 meter high mountain, very beautiful. Down below her is Kothmale Reservoir. It's approximately 700 meter in terms of elevation and water level. Then further to the left, you can probably make out the top of Mahaweli Masaya, which is 84 meters tall. Not sure whether you can clearly make it out through the GoPro lens, but we'll see whether we can get a clearer view somewhere up there. This is a very important landmark when you are trekking uphill. If you come across this, you can be happy that you are on the correct path. So far we have trekked 6.4 kilometers. Our elevation is 970 meters or 3,182 feet. On Google Maps, this place is marked as Hindu Tree Kovil. This is an important landmark. From here, we have to trek another 600 meters and gain 70 meters to reach the Choice Tree Factory Pundaluoya ruins. That's what I showed you from Aridas Estate a short while ago. There is another important landmark marked on Google Maps as hiking trail to Aridas Estate. Keep an eye on that as well. We just left Hindu Tree Kovil behind and trekking uphill on this path to reach the tea factory in ruins, because that is a really good vantage point for us to enjoy the surrounding views, even better than we saw a short while ago. We are continuing on this Choice Estate road. We are trying to reach the highest point of the Pekoe Stage 4 at 1263 meters. You can probably also hear there are some of the people in this estate going on about their chores, doing some work and all that while we are doing this hike. Now if you refer to some of these maps, they refer to this estate as not only Choisy but also Hoisy, Hoisy. Some people use the spelling Choicy, some people use Choiscy. There are many variations. Hopefully we can find an estate name board to figure out what the exact name. I also want to finish my tale about King Dutugamunu the Great. Hopefully in a little bit I'll be able to share that story as well. Let's finish our story about King Dutugamunu the Great, who reigned between 161 and 137 BC for 24 years in Anuradhapura Kingdom, having unified the entire country for the first time. That's why he is considered as one of the greatest kings to have ruled Sri Lanka. However, he had a quarrel with his father, Kawantissa. He was the king of Ruhuna at the time, between 205 and 161 BC. Prince Gamunu, that's how he was known in his youth. Then he became Dutugamunu as a result of being rude to his father. In Sinhala it is very nicely described as Duttagamini Abaya. That's how he became Dutugamunu. He fled to Malayarata, also known as Kothmale, with his mother Queen Vihara Mahadevi's blessings, and hid there for 12 years. He lived as a herdsman with one of the village chieftains known as Udugampalasse Gama Mahage. The village he lived is known as Kotaga Pitia in Marsville area. Having stayed there for 12 years, and after the demise of his father King Kawantissa, he returned to Ruhuna, accepted the kingdom, and then went on to defeat King Ella in Anuradhapura and unified the entire country. We call it Sri Sinhalaya, Ruhunu, Pihiti, Maya. But that Maya Rata should not be confused with Malaya Rata, which we refer to as Kothmale. That's the story about King Dutugamunu. The funny thing is, when he was hiding in Kothmale, he was known as Gutta or Hiddalaya. Right, that's a bit of the history lesson for you guys doing the Pekoe stage 4. When you are doing that, do a bit of reading about the history and why Kothmale has such a special place in Sri Lankan history. Peacock Hill and Kothmale Reservoir continue to keep us company on our right. There's a very special place known as Kadadora Temple, which is one of the 18 such temples got submerged when they built Kothmale Reservoir. In 1979 they started building it and completed in 1985, joining two mountains, Tispane Kanda and Kadadora Kanda. When the water levels are low of Kothmale Reservoir, you can still see the ruins of Kadadora temple, especially the Buddha statue. Now this Kothmale, as I told you, is a very significant place because there were 4 entrances to Malaya Rata. One is Kadadora, that's where Prince Gamunu entered when he fled to Malaya Rata. There are 3 other such entrances. One is known as Watadora, the other is known as Galdora, and the last one Niyangamdora. Unfortunately, only the ruins of Kadadora is visible at present. There are no traces of the other 3. Well, that's a bit more history for those who are interested in while following Pekoe stage number 4. As I told you guys, if there is no update to the trail, I would highly recommend starting this trek from the 4.9 kilometer point, so that you can truly enjoy this estate trek rather than having to waste your time and energy on a busy main road. Here we are at last, getting very close to one of the most beautiful tea factory locations in the entire country. Unfortunately, the factory is in ruins. I wish it was still operational because tea factories have this unique structure and these white painted buildings looking so gorgeous among the lush green tea fields. Unfortunately, we can't have that here. So far we have trekked up to this point 7 kilometers, which is 50% of today's hike. Remember, the total is 14.05 kilometers. The elevation here is at 1040 meters or 3412 feet. This is marked as Choisi Tea Factory Pundaluoya on Google Map. Anyway, we are also getting very close to one of the amazing viewpoints known as Karunagala. That is at 1140 meters, that means 100 meters above, and beyond that is the highest point of Pekoe stage 4. Right, okay, I hope these ruins, they won't fall down on us, because I would really like to go and have a look at inside. This actually reminds me of Ohiya factory in Udavevi estate. Right guys, okay, there is a surprise for you. From this tiny footpath we come to this amazing, really good condition carpeted road. There's a nice history to this. I will also tell you about it in a bit, but I'm taking you further on this road because we can get an amazing view of Kothmale Mahaweli Mahasaya in the distance, and mountains of Nawalapitiya. If I remember correct, that is the Dolosbage mountain range, including the highest peak Kabaragala, 1504 meters if I'm not mistaken. There you can see the amazing Mahaweli Mahasaya at 84 meters height. Here is the tea factory in ruins. There's very little remaining today. Down below is that mysterious, well-made carpeted road. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Here is a look of the granite wall and the interior. You can see this orange dot with a white circle around it. I think that is one of the signage of the Pekoe Trail. This is the second such signage I saw. There are two arrows marked on one of these metal pillars of the tea factory. Let me show you that. Before we go and see the arrows, here is another better look inside this tea factory, or whatever is remaining. It's very sad to see the state of this tea factory with this amazing surrounding view. Here are the two arrows that I told you. They have marked on one of these pillars. We have to now go to the left. If you are doing it in the reverse order, you have to turn right to that small footpath that we were coming uphill. We are at 1040 meter elevation. Distance trekked is 7 kilometers. Now, if you are wondering what's the mystery behind this well-carpeted road, this was in fact built to facilitate one of the underground powerhouses about 500 meters downhill towards Pundaluoya. Once the power plant was built, there was no more need for this road. Hence, the road exists but with no more usage. The previous Pekoe Stage 4 continued on this road all the way towards Pundaluoya, ending the trail there. Which means you have to turn right when you were coming uphill on that estate road. But the new one, we have to turn left and tackle along Choisi Estate Road all the way towards Pundaluoya. That's one significant change in this updated Pekoe Stage 4. Well, that's the story about the mystery road and what we have to do from now onwards. So let's take a small break and continue our hike towards Choisi Estate, possibly Karnagala viewpoint as well. We are walking on this mysterious road. Not a vehicle inside, but it is in really good condition. I wish we can switch this road with some of the very bad estate roads. Anyway, once again, there was a very good purpose why they built it, and after the project was over, they had no more need for this road. They just had to abandon it. So the people doing Pekoe Stage 4 can make use of that. However, I believe the line houses of Choisi Estate, people living there, they can use this road to easily reach Pundaluoya. Now, not to get confused with Pundaluoya in Bandarawela. This is Pundaluoya between Pundaluoya and Tawalantenne. We saw another signage put on a tree by the Pekoe organizing committee. Apparently they have put up signages on this section. It looks as if this was signposted in the old trail. However, the new updated trail is not yet signposted. Anyway, now we are actually on the new trail. Probably they have put up some new signages to make sure the trekkers don't get lost and end up in Pundaluoya instead of heading to Pundaluoya. Now, I told you our next stop is going to be Karnagala viewpoint at 1140 meters, and then highest point at 1263 meters. We had to climb approximately 223 meters from the tea factory in ruins. The distance is approximately 2 kilometers. From the highest point onwards, It's going to be an easy downhill trek for the last 5 kilometers towards Pundaluoya. We are going to climb down to Pundaluoya Valley, approximately at 1000 meters. But our trail end today is going to be at Pundaluoya Bridge across Pundaluoya. That is at 998 meters or 3275 feet. We also have planned to start Pekoe 5 tomorrow if possible. That will start from Pundaluoya Bridge, where we are going to end for today, and it will continue all the way towards Watagoda. So those who are planning to do Pekoe stages, remember guys, the first, second and third are absolutely breathtaking, fully worth doing it in their entirety. However, Pekoe 4 and 5, even though I haven't done 5 yet, I know even 5 has some problems in terms of the trekking areas that runs through some main roads. I hope the organizing committee will fix those soon. Until such time, don't get disheartened if you do Pekoe 4 and 5. Just continue on to 6 and beyond, because that is the heart of Ceylon Tea Country. That will help you truly experience the historical tea plantations of Sri Lanka and walk through the true Ceylon tea trails. Hopefully, those who are watching this video, by that time, they would have fixed 4 and 5. There's a nice viewpoint as well, but these dreaded electricity cables are blocking our view. Right, I think we walked you enough. Take a short break here in the shade. We'll catch you hopefully towards Karnagala viewpoint. Here we are at the turn off to Karnagala viewpoint. Just 200 meters. So if you are doing Pekoe stage 4, don't forget to visit this place. It's an amazing viewpoint, very popular among the tourists, even the locals. There are people traveling from all over the country just to view this place. So if you are doing the Pekoe stage 4, please pay a visit. You might have to buy a ticket. I'll have a look and tell you about it when we visit Karnagala, but it's fully worth. It's a pity that this is not part of the Pekoe Trail, because these are the things that we need to incorporate into the Pekoe Trail so that they become more interesting and worthwhile. Hopefully these kind of things will be added in the future. So let's walk and see what we can enjoy from Karnagala viewpoint. We are going in search of Karnagala. So this is some additional distance to the Pekoe stage 4. Remember, it was supposed to be 14.05 kilometers, and we are going to add another 400 meters to it. So it's going to be all in all 14.5 kilometers, but fully worth it. Now, remember, I was showing you a mountain range, especially at the very beginning. I couldn't show it very clearly because of the busy road that we were trekking. Now we are actually very close to the one end of Kikkiliyamana Forest Reserve. That's where the Hatton mountain with height of 1669 meter elevation is. Kikkiliyamana Forest Reserve is feeding water to so many rivers, including Punawaya and Pundaluoya. Therefore, it's a very valuable forest reserve. It is connected to Nuwara Eliya, Great Western and Dimbula Hills. Between Kikkiliyamana and Piduralagala goes Kandy, Ramboda, Peradeniya, Nuwara Eliya main road. That's essentially the A5, which we call PBC, Peradeniya Batikalo Chenkaladi Highway. Right. We saw an arrow sign saying we are on the correct path to Karnagala. Here is a small shop that sells like vegetable and coconut rotis when there are lots of visitors. Unfortunately, there's none remaining today. Not a soul in sight. Look at this entrance, people. It looks so wonderfully built. Unfortunately, it looks closed. You can see the ticket prices given. For locals it's 200 bucks. For foreigners 500. There's a telephone number. We might have to call them and get them to open the entrance for us. This is a view from Karnagala entrance towards Choisi Estate, where we have to go uphill. Remember, highest point is at 1263, about 123 meters higher than where we are standing. But before that, we are going to enjoy the Karnagala viewpoint. Alright, we are going into Karnagala through this heavenly archway. Can you make out the viewpoint? Right, let's walk all the way to the viewpoint and see why this is so special. I think you are already beginning to see why it's so special. This gives such a beautiful, breathtaking 180-degree view. Wait people, you are yet to see the best view yet. I'll just go to a nice place and show you around. Brace yourself for this one. This is gonna wow you to no end. Absolutely no end. This is just incredible and out of this world. Oh my goodness. You can probably make out a nice netty bed with another summer hut down to the right. Here is a view from that summer hut I showed you. You can see literally the entire Kothmale reservoir from here, Peacock Hill, and to the leftmost corner Mahaweli Mahasaya. Okay, here's the rest of the reservoir, and now we are coming to Ramboda Hills. Hills between Tawalantenne and Ramboda, including Galandigini Ella, Devathura Ella and Ramboda waterfalls. Then beyond Pidurutalagal Conservation Forest. Now this is the view you would be getting if you were lucky enough to be able to have a lie down on this netty bed. We are looking towards the Kothmale reservoir down below at 700 meters. We are standing at 1040 meters. That is roughly 340 meter elevation drop straight away into the reservoir. Just imagine you sitting on this seesaw, enjoying a nice cup of coffee or tea and looking towards those mountains in the morning when the sun is rising. That would be an heavenly view. That is something I want to do very soon. Hopefully I'll get lucky. Another panoramic view over that summer hut, looking at the same beautiful, amazing view. Just look at that, people. Can you ever get enough of this? I highly doubt so. This is the view from Karnagala. This is actually for the privileged people. You must really come here and enjoy this beautiful place. There's a nice cool breeze, heavenly view. You would have seen it by now. And we are getting some beautiful plain tea and very tasty coconut roti with coconut sambol. What else can a man have? It's an amazing feeling. So if you are free, do the Pekoe Trail, especially stage 4, come to Karnagala. Ideally you should spend a day here, add it to your map, add it to your itinerary, spend the day here and continue to the Pekoe stage 4 and 5 from here. Right, we are going to have nice roti and coconut sambol for lunch. Well people, then it's time to say goodbye to this amazing viewpoint of Karnagala, with a promise that we would be back very soon to spend a whole day and a whole night. We'll continue on our journey towards Pekoe Trail 4 towards Pundaluoya. Right, we left Karunagala behind, we are continuing on that well paved road. There is a sign of CEB to our right. I wonder if we are entering into a private property. Oh my, look at this. The gate is locked, but we can see an arrow on the tree beyond this gate. Can you see that? Surprise! Right, this is the reason why they built this wonderful road. From here, we don't need to worry, we are not going to break into this underground tunnel network. We are going to turn right. Thankfully, they have signposted this area so that we don't have to really worry about finding the trail. I'm trying to show you a close-up view of this place. You can see my trekking partner Harinder is going to tackle this very steep section close to this tunnel mouth. You can also make out the arrow sign. Unfortunately, there were no such signs at the beginning. This was only available from the tea factory, which was in ruins. I wonder if they are going to do these arrow marks very soon, or whether they are waiting for a better route for stage 4 and 5. We are actually walking uphill on this very steep and narrow footpath, which has apparently been cleared very recently. You can also see these signage, they have been put up recently. That's a really good sign, especially from that tea factory which was in ruin. There have been good signage put up by the Pekoe organizing committee. That's a really good thing. We actually didn't have to use our offline map at all. I'm guessing they have not done any signage in the first half of the Pekoe stage 4. Probably they are still trying to get a better route close to the tea estates or nature reserves. Let's hope they'll be able to figure it out very soon, so that the future travelers will be able to enjoy the entire trail better than we did. If they change it, I might even come back. Trying to get you a sense of this footpath. As I mentioned before, you can see it has been cleared recently with all those signage being pasted. That's a good thing. But however, remember guys, when you are coming in the rainy season, this path is gonna be a real difficult one. It's gonna be very slippery and then full of leeches. Therefore, make sure you come prepared for all such eventualities. Another tree frame over Peacock Hill. You can also see the setting sun reflecting on Mahavi Mahasaya's surface towards left. Even though this is the drought, you can see there are streams like this which help us have some water, relax, rest and wash our hands and face from time to time. Therefore, please use this carefully. Don't muddy them, don't ruin them, just protect them. Use the water carefully and take them whatever you want, but please protect them. I would anyway encourage you to use water filtration tablets if you have. Once again, though these seem like very crystal clear and filtered water through these rocks and sand, there could still be some dung from the animals. Therefore, you got to be careful. I would recommend either using a water filtration tablets or one of those water filtration bottles, just to be on the safe side. Okay, you can see there is like a little cave across the footpath. You can see Harin is walking underneath it. You can get a sense of the size and the height compared to Harinder. Can you make out this very steep path? There are some stone steps built in, but it's going to be very difficult and challenging, especially when it's raining. Thankfully, we have the best climate and the weather conditions. Therefore, we have been able to manage it without any incident. Here we are looking back at the very steep path we just climbed uphill. Alright people, we have entered into this Choisi Estate Road. Once again, it's a very well carpeted road. On our right hand side is Choisi Tamil School. We are now very close to 9 km mark, as well as the highest elevation point, 1263 meters. We walked through a set of line houses, but there were some people, and one of the cows was giving birth to a calf and it was rather busy, so we couldn't do any filming or pictures at the time. We just bypassed it and entered into this Choisi Estate Road. From here onwards, it's going to be 5 kilometers downhill until we go to Pundaluoya. Alright people, here we are at the highest elevation point, 9 km mark, 1263 meters, so 4144 feet. From here onwards, it's going to be a nice leisure climb downhill all the way to Pundaluoya Valley. 998 meters is our end point. This is the path that we came uphill. We are looking from the highest elevation point. Tamil school is to our left now. If you can see this roof, you are in the right place. This is a view towards Top Pass, Pundaluoya and Rambuda Hills. We can also make out Kikliyamana Forest Reserve in one end. Very pretty cabbage field. Looks so fertile and yummy. We are now walking on this beautiful Choisi Estate Road. Our target is to go and meet North Pundaluoya Estate and then reach Pundaluoya Bridge. That's where our trail end lies. Now the sun is behind us, that's why you can see this area beautifully lit. We are actually behind time. We wanted to come a bit sooner. Unfortunately, we spent quite a long time coming on that B412 from Tawalantenne to the turn-off towards Adyadas Estate. Remember, that was a very tiring bit. Walking on that busy road wasn't entertaining at all. However, we should be crossing a small stream very soon at 10.5 km mark. If you can see up there, there's like a very big rocky wall. That stream originates from that mountain range and it flows to Pundaluoya. Alright, we are going down on this Choisi Estate Road. We have to trek approximately 3 kilometers from the highest elevation point until we meet North Pundaluoya Estate Road. The elevation drop is going to be roughly 150 meters during that 3 kilometer mark. But our first point of interest is going to be this stream which is flowing from up there. Yes, I can see some tiny waterfalls being created by that stream. But when it rains, that must be a nice massive waterfall coming all the way from there. I think the elevation difference between the road and the top of the rocky wall is roughly, I think it's about good 200 meters. So that waterfall, if it is falling all the way, it's gonna be taller than Kandy Ella. Now this stream, I told you it's gonna flow into Pundaluoya just before Wavahena Bridge. Wavahena is a very significant point. That's where Pundaluoya creates so many tiny cascades before going and merging with Kothmale Oya, which flows underneath Maldeniya Bridge. I told you Kothmale is a very historic place. There are many historic villages. Some of them are submerged under Kothmale Reservoir. Others are still being inhabited by people coming all the way from Prince Gamanu's era, or even before that. Now we just crossed tiny stream. I'm not sure if that is the one we were supposed to cross. Oh, is there another bigger one? I think there's another bigger one. We need to go and see whether it's good enough for us to go and have a quick wash, because my feet are really burning. They hurt so much. I think I can do with a bit of a cold water therapy. Just put them in some ice cold water, give them a bit of relaxation. Okay people, now Kothmale Reservoir and B412 parallels us on our right. Pundaluoya town, I think we just passed that. Once again, when we were at the highest elevation point, Pundaluoya town was just below us towards Kothmale Reservoir. Now we are slowly heading to Pundaluoya. I think here is the bridge at 10.5 kilometer mark. Elevation here is going to be 1170 meters. Oh, there are a couple of monkeys here. We got to watch out. Right, okay, let's go and see how is the water level first and foremost. We are looking back towards the path we came downhill. We have trekked more than 1.5 kilometers. You can see the elevation drop. We have dropped approximately 75 meters. Alright, we are having a nice cozy time in the middle of the road. Hopefully there won't be a vehicle coming anytime soon. It's a very tiring day. The sun is setting to our right when we are trekking, and we got to keep an eye out for any vehicles as well. Oh my goodness, there's a vehicle I can hear in the distance. Time to end my short-lived relaxing time in the middle of the road there. We are looking back towards where we were at the highest elevation point in Choisy Estate. Down below is the Choisy Estate road, which we are still walking downhill towards Pundaluoya. Right, this is the way towards where we have to go. We are climbing slightly now uphill from that stream. I'm going to move you away from Harinda and bring you back to Pundaluoya down below. That is where we have to get down. We can also see Pundaluoya down below. Let me see whether I can get a good view of her. We are getting closer and closer to Pundaluoya. In this frame, on the far left hand corner in the distance is Nuwara. So beyond Nuwara towards Watagoda is Great Western. So we believe the mountain range in front is the Great Western. There are several peaks. Great Western is also facing Great Western and Thalawakale Lindula on Hatton and Ella road, and then Pundaluoya on the opposite side. So we are actually in the opposite side. So we believe this is to be Great Western. We are walking the last few meters of Choisy Estate road. Remember, we walked on that for almost 3 kilometers. Now we are going to merge with, at 12.9 kilometer mark, North Pundaluoya Estate road. The elevation at this point is 1100 meters or 3608 feet. From here onwards, we have to get down just over 100 meters to reach Pundaluoya bridge. 102 meters to be exact. And the distance we need to reach Pundaluoya bridge is, now we just crossed the 12.9 kilometer mark. We need to hit 14.05. That means another 1.15 kilometers we have to walk on this Pundaluoya North Estate Road. There is going to be another prominent Hindu Kovil in the close vicinity. That's also one of the main landmarks when you are doing this, just to keep an eye on that. Can you make out the tea factory beyond these line houses? We are going to go past that at 13.4 kilometer mark. That is the North Pundaluoya Estate Tea Factory. This is Sri Muthumari Amman Kovil at 13.2 kilometer mark. Alright people, we have arrived at last in Pundaluoya. You can see the bridge from here. Once again, I'm not going to go onto the main road, which is the B412, to end our journey. It's going to be very noisy, very busy. So I'm going to stop it here about 200 meters before. You can probably hear the Pundaluoya flowing past us on my left hand side. We started our journey from Tawalantenne, trekked 14.05 kilometers, reached highest elevation at 1263 meters, and it's been a very fantastic hike. Especially if you are going to start Pekoe stage 4, I would highly recommend avoiding the first 4.9 kilometers. If there is a future update where they are going to change the first 4.9 kilometers for a better estate trek or better trek through the Mother Nature Forest Reserve, by all means take it. Otherwise, you better start at 4.9 kilometer mark. Then it is time for us to say goodbye to you. This is Sri signing off from Pundaluoya.